Welcome to the Military Money Manual Podcast, where every episode is all about achieving financial independence in the military faster than before. We believe personal finance shouldn't be boring or intimidating. Building wealth can be simple, and financial freedom is the ultimate financial goal. Now, here's your hosts, Spencer and Jamie.
Hey, podcast listeners. Welcome to another episode of the Military Money Manual Podcast. Spencer Reese here from militarymoneymanual.com, joined by my co-host, Jamie. Hey, Jamie.
Hey, Spencer. Today, we're going to continue our series on airline credit cards by talking about American Airlines and some of the cards that Citibank offers on American Airlines.
So Citi offers 4 American Airlines credit cards. They call them the Citi/AA Advantage. I guess you pronounce that Advantage. Citi Advantage credit cards. There's the Mile Up MasterCard that has no annual fee. The Platinum Select MasterCard, that one does have an annual fee. And then there's the Citi Advantage Executive World Elite MasterCard, and that one also has an annual fee. There's also a Citi Business credit card, but we're not going to address that one today. And we're not really going to talk about the Mile Up card either because it's no annual fee. So we're not too concerned about it. It's not that great of a card. But we'll start today's episode by talking about the Citi Advantage Executive World Elite MasterCard.
Yeah, this card has an annual fee that's waived $595 a year. So it's free for you and your spouse under the Military Lending Act, like we've talked about on many episodes before. In general, you're going to be required to spend around $7,000 in your first 3 months of account opening on this card.
Ouch.
So as of the time of this recording, that is quite the hefty spend requirement. That's very high compared to the other cards out there. And you might only get 70,000 American Airlines Advantage miles. So if you can get more like 100 or 120 when they have higher bonuses, then look for those. But right now, at the time of this recording, 70,000 miles after you spend 7,000 in the first 3 months is not a great sign-up bonus.
No, it's a pretty high barrier to entry there for a lot of people. So I would recommend waiting for either a lower minimum spend or a higher bonus miles. But American Airlines miles are tough to earn. For a while there, they had no travel transfer partner. So you couldn't transfer Chase, you couldn't transfer American Express, Capital One, Citi. You could not transfer those flexible credit card points to the American Airlines program. Recently, though, there's a new credit card called the Built MasterCard that allows you to pay your rent with no fees once a month, which is a pretty cool program. And we'll address that on a future episode. But one of the unique things about the Built MasterCard is that it allows you to transfer Built points to American Airlines. So the only travel transfer partner, credit card transfer partner of American Airlines. So that's a pretty cool benefit of that card.
Yeah, getting American Airlines miles is great, but just make sure that you can actually organically spend $7,000 in 3 months. If you are new to the military or you're struggling, that's a lot of money. Don't want you to put yourself in a situation where you're going to be hurting, spending $2,300 a month just to make this sign-up bonus of 70,000 Advantage miles. So make sure it's not going to stretch your budget too much, or wait for a future time where it's not that big.
The other benefits of this card is it gives you Admirals Club access for you and up to 2 guests. They say, or immediate family members. I don't know why immediate family members don't count as guests, but I think they do. You also get no foreign transaction fees, which is great, but you'll get that on most of the cards we talk about on the podcast and on the website. You're also going to get your first checked bag free on domestic American Airline itineraries for you and up to 8 companions traveling with you. So if you got a family, that's a great benefit right there. Most military service members, like we've talked about in previous episodes, kind of scoff at the free checked bags benefits because we're so used to getting, 5 checked bags for free on all of the major airlines due to our military affiliation. But this is a good benefit if you're traveling with someone who doesn't have that military affiliation, or if your spouse's partner or kids are traveling on their own ticket and they need to get some checked bags.
Yeah. As with most of the other cards we've talked about over the last couple of weeks, and most of the cards we talked about in general, this does come with global entry or TSA PreCheck. We've talked about that in past episodes, so you can go back and listen to those, but it's a nice benefit, especially for the spouses or kids that can't just use their DoD ID number, or for the service member to get global entry and cut the line when they're coming back inside the States.
You're probably going to need a credit score of at least 700, maybe even 720 to qualify for this card. So it's definitely not a starter credit card. And well, like we talked about in previous episodes, almost none of the airline credit cards should be in your kind of your top 5, unless you have a really good reason of why you're opening up the card. There's a lot better cards out there with a lot more benefits and a lot more flexible minimum spends to earn the welcome bonuses, and just flexible benefits and flexible points, especially on like the Chase Sapphire Reserve or the Chase Freedom cards. You can always cash those points out at 1 cent per point. And for a young service member, whether you're a lieutenant or you just recently enlisted in the military, it can be hard, just cash flow, right? It can be hard getting started, and it can be hard to, find two nickels to rub together. And so if you can have a cashback card where, every month you're putting an extra $100, or maybe if you open up a couple cards and you earn the welcome bonuses, and some of the welcome bonuses can be super valuable, and you may earn $1,000. I mean, that's $1,000 that you didn't have before. So I think I would definitely go for one of those easier to use cards rather than the Citi Advantage Executive card.
One of the reasons I don't love airline cards as much is because none of them help you get status. And so airline travel without status is not great. It's very expensive to fly comfortably. And some of them you get some qualifying dollars or segments, but really without flying a bunch, none of the airlines are going to give you status. So these cards would be much better for us if they did, but none of them really do help with status. Just a quick note from one of our sponsors, and we'll be right back to the show. Hey, Spencer, I've heard about this free Amex Platinum card for military service members. Where can I go to learn more about this?
Great question, Jamie. I've got the Ultimate Military Credit Cards course at militarymoneymanual.com/UMC3. It's a 100% free email-based course, and I explain exactly how to verify your eligibility for credit card annual fee waivers with the Military Lending Act, or MLA, and the Service Members Civil Relief Act, or SCRA. The Ultimate Military Credit Cards course is a beginner's guide to travel hacking and opening up your first annual fee-waived credit card while you or your spouse serves in the U.S. military. There's no spam, no fluff, and the only emails you'll get from me are related to military credit cards. You can unsubscribe at any time, and there's zero cost to you to sign up. You can sign up right now for free at militarymoneymanual.com/UMC3. Again, militarymoneymanual.com/Uniform Mike Charlie 3.
And now back to the show. Spencer, the next card from American Airlines through Citibank is the Citi Advantage Platinum Select World Elite MasterCard. Do you feel any differently about this card, or is this kind of a lower tier recommendation as well?
Again, it's a lower tier recommendation. If you're trying to rack up American Airlines miles, it can be a good card to add to your repertoire. But usually you're looking at between 50, maybe 70, maybe all the way up to 100,000 American Airlines bonus miles when signing up. Right now, the current offer is a lot less than that. So I would either wait for a targeted mailer where you literally receive a letter in the mail offering you a higher bonus offer. This card, the Citi Advantage Platinum Select World Elite MasterCard, also does offer a $125 American Airlines flight discount, but you have to spend $20,000 or more in purchases during your card membership year and renew your card. The annual fee is $99. That is waived for military service members and military spouses.
Please don't go out and spend $20,000 on this card just to save $125 on an American Airlines flight. Not worth it.
Yeah, definitely. I would say that if you're considering this card, again, check my list of the best military credit cards on militarymoneymanual.com, or sign up for my course, the Ultimate Military Credit Cards course at militarymoneymanual.com/UMC3. And I'll walk you through my recommended order of cards to open up. But this is way down the recommended list. Again, unless you have a very specific reason of why you need American Airlines miles. And I find that being locked in to a particular airline brand or particular airline just gives you so much less flexibility that you would have the flexibility if you had the American Express points, if you had the Chase points, and you don't get that once you're locked into these programs. You can't transfer the points out of them.
Yeah. So other than the fact that it's hard to get American Airlines points, which there are some decent redemptions out there, like redeeming Qatar Q suites from mainland US direct to the Middle East in a lie flat suite. There's pretty good redemptions I've seen out there for only 70,000 American Airlines miles sometimes. So if you're doing something like that, targeting a good redemption on a partner airline, then maybe these cards are for you. One of the biggest reasons Citi is not my favorite in general is because of their MLA policy is just a little trickier and more confusing than the automatic process that Amex and Chase offer. So Spencer, can you share a little bit about the Citi process, and I can share some of my perspective as well?
Sure. So basically what you want to do is go to the Military Lending Act, the MLA database. You can Google that. You might have to add military onto it, or else you get a bunch of stuff about citations in college through the MLA format. And you're going to want to verify that you are in fact eligible for MLA benefits, which you are if you're active duty, guard or reserve on 30-day active orders, or a military spouse married to any of the above. And then you're going to send a quick email to militaryorders@citi.com. And that is the official address. You can also call Citi and ask, hey, who do I send an email to? And they're going to say militaryorders@citi.com. And just say, hey, I recently applied for whatever Citi card you applied for. Could I please have Military Lending Act benefits or protections applied to my account? And you can see my attached MLA certificate from the MLA database as evidence of my military service. They might also ask for military orders, and you can just provide your most recent PCS orders or your entering active duty orders, especially if they don't have a termination date on them.
Yeah, and if you Google search Citi MLA or Citi credit cards military, Spencer, the website will pop right up, and then you have a good template there. You can literally just copy that into your email, change the name from Spencer to your name, and then send that email off, and hopefully they'll apply those benefits for you.
Yeah, so once they apply the benefits, though, here's when it gets tricky. Some people report that you have to close the statement in which you are charged the annual fee with a balance, but that balance can't be higher than 30. Well, it's a complicated formula. I'm not going to take the time to. Again, it's all on my website, and you can read the details there. I have received other data points of people who don't submit their orders at all, and they just open up a Citi card and they automatically get the benefits, MLA benefits applied to their account. Maybe this is a recent change. Maybe Citi has finally connected, their database, or if you select, military as your source of income when you apply for the card, maybe they automatically run your social security number against the MLA database, and then they automatically apply protections to your account. I have seen it where people usually they get charged the membership fee, and then the same day, the credit comes back, refunding the membership fee. Citi is one of those that it's very hard to pin down, like what is the actual process? And if you fall through the cracks, how do you resolve it? And Jamie, you've got a personal story on that as well with Citi.
Yeah, it's quite frustrating when one card with the same process on my end gets the MLA benefits applied, and then the next card I open does not. I've been on active duty the whole time. I did the exact same process, the exact same template right off of Spencer's article that I mentioned earlier. And one card gets approved for MLA and the other one doesn't. So it's just too unpredictable with Citi. In general, American Airline miles are not as valuable as earning American Express or Chase points that are more flexible. You can transfer to a number of partners. So I'd recommend avoiding those, at least initially, going with American Express and Chase. And then if you need to top it off, look at some of the Citi cards. But it's a much more complex and opaque process than the other banks. Sometimes it's just not worth the frustration.
Couldn't agree more, Jamie. So listener, on today's episode, we talked about the best American Airlines credit cards available for military service members and military spouses. We talked about the Citi Advantage Executive World Elite MasterCard and the Citi Advantage Platinum Select MasterCard. Both decent cards if you're trying to earn American Airlines miles, but I think there's much better cards out there that offer much more flexible benefits, flexible points, and easier minimum spends to earn all the above. In this series on the best airline credit cards for military service members, we've already talked about Delta cards from American Express, United cards from Chase Bank, and now we've talked about American Airlines from Citi. And on next week's episode, we'll talk about Southwest credit cards from Chase. If you're getting value out of the podcast, 5-star review is always awesome on Spotify or Apple. And you can send us an email, podcast@militarymoneymanual.com, or Instagram. You can DM us at militarymoneymanual. Catch you in the next episode.
Thanks so much for tuning in to this episode of the Military Money Manual podcast. If you're enjoying the show, please feel free to rate, subscribe, and leave a review wherever you listen to your podcasts. This helps others find the show, and we really appreciate it. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next episode.
The views and opinions presented here are those of the speakers and do not necessarily represent the views of the DoD or its components. Reference to any commercial products or services does not constitute DoD endorsement of those products or services.